Hey everyone, this is my Patreon-powered reaction to the 13th and final episode of Abenobashi Mahou Shoutengai. And in the last episode, our characters had thought they'd finally went home. It turned out what they actually did was went to a version of their home that was a American Hollywood action movie type deal. Which, I mean, that's not the worst place they could have went, but obviously not the intended location. So, yeah, they're still working on getting home. Hopefully things work out and they do end up going home to, an ideal version of their home eventually. So let's watch and see if they do. 3, 2, 1, play. Really? Even though it's so cold? Like I was seeing clips of all the stuff that's happened so far. I'm sure you're very warm now because you're holding hands. Yeah, it makes sense to me. Yes, you have a problem with that? Are we gonna skip the opening this time? Looks like we are. Return to life, the legendary Onmyo mystic Onmyoji. Penguins are the best adults. He is wearing his Onmyoji outfit. Yeah, he could. Arumi! Oh, I see. I think we're past Hokkaido. New York. Uh, well, no. Hokkaido's not that far. Don't be throwing geography at me, that's my worst subject. You don't need to know geography to be a Onmyoji. Are you saying you want to go to a place further than the universe? Antarctica, yeah, I guess she does. It still counts. Real life space is nowhere near as cool as sci-fi space, just to let you know. Oh no. It's destroying it. I I think some people might. That's for you to decide, I guess. I think she has a catchphrase. Through the moon. Apparently. This is gonna be the last episode just hanging out in here watching movies. Tomorrow. And who are you? Uh I might not want to talk about that right now. Wow, must be a heavy door. Okay, that's too much text on screen. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. I guess that explains a lot. What? Okay. That's a reference to a anime I haven't seen. Of course. Looks like you can have a lot of fun with it, though. Yeah. Do we have to go back to reality? And she's just still on there sitting down, doing literally nothing. Don't be hasty. You could ask her opinion on this matter. You know, tell her everything that's going on and let her make a decision. That is a possibility. Damn reality, it won't leave me alone. Myoji powers activate, save us from reality. Because I guess that's what Myoji powers do, in general. Is it? It's really hard to say. There could be very subtle differences. The bold claim for somebody who's never left this town. Well, in reality. Yeah, I really need to just tell her. She's nowhere near as bad about running away from reality as you are. He's been called a kid a lot this episode. So then we're home. Finally. Yeah, I think she just realized. And I actually got chills when I saw that look in her eye. Don't. Satoshi. He's not giving up. Gotta catch him first. Okay, I think the animation budget took a nosedive. This isn't Chalk Zone, you can't just draw a new place to live. So where's Harumi? There she is. Ouch. You mean reality? That's a horrible feeling, but no, that's not what we're talking about. Yes, you know what you're talking about. It's a memory. But yeah, that art in the background, it's slightly better than how I can draw. You really can't hide this anymore, dude. I mean, aside from the fact that it's your home. Let's go to New York. Or California. Yeah, that's not how you spell New York at all. And he has no counter argument to that. Mune Mune? I see him alright. I mean, you could always produce Mune Mune no matter the situation. No, no, Mune Mune, feel free to stay. That got her attention. uh, sorry for, having such lewd thoughts about you, Grandma. Makes sense. You're sitting on the line. Oh. Wow. Just hanging bras in the background, too. Now I just push her out the window. I should have a count for how many times he's been called a kid this episode. He's quite stacked for a kid, by Kirby. Okay then, let's do so. So many mixed feelings, eh? Well, when you ask so nicely, how could you say no? Are you happy, Satoshi? You made her wet. Can you actually do it? Because you don't really want to give her false hope. Gonna have another child. uh, it's obvious to anyone that's not you. Yeah, everyone has been doing that to you. Not that they're wrong, but... Back to the white void. Girlfriend. You don't even look like you're walking. Because he walks this lonely road. You at least take us to Akihabara. But yeah, I think basically he's trying to say that the Myoji powers can let you have some fun dreams, but, it doesn't actually affect the real world. It just gives you alternate ones to play in. To our Abenobashi. Even though, she's moving to Hokkaido. But yeah, I think we're finally, after all this, just going home. Uh, yes. But she can accept it. Unlike you. I failed to follow your logic. You'll stop being a kid in a few years, just wait. I don't know, 8 years in the future? Uh, is this gonna jump into the future? That'd be interesting. How dare he summon me? Does he know I'm a busy man? Why is he floating? I'm already here, might as well. Okay, that's a really cool effect. You can see where a nice chunk of the episode's animation budget went. And is he an adult now? Looks like it. Looks even more like an Onmyoji, though. Yeah, I definitely feel like the animation budget was saved for this. I don't think you should bend the world like that. Some things never change. So what exactly happened? Looked like he aged up, but did he age up without actually going into the future? I'm confused. I assume he's just gonna save him here. Is dealing with a cat really worth your life? Think about this. He doesn't even care. I mean, he's still the same age there. So I guess I just have to watch and see what's happening here. Well, he didn't die yet. Oh, so nothing bad happened? Is that... Okay, it didn't look like they directly did anything to affect that, but okay. Oh, okay. Apparently everything worked out for him. Well, it has to make sense if he was the one doing stuff with his adult Onmyoji form or whatever that was. Mune Mune. I guess she's in this world too, so... Yeah, not being dead. You know, I guess I'll just let this play this time since it is the last episode. But yeah, apparently this is like this is the happiest ending possible from his perspective. Rumi's not gonna leave. The old man's alive. Still confused exactly what happened there with Eutis and the adult form of Satoshi, but I guess it doesn't matter that much. I'm just glad that, you know, it actually has a conclusive ending like so many anime don't have. Especially, you know, nowadays when a lot of anime are just glorified advertisements for the light novel or the manga that it's adapted from. That alone is pretty good. Well, sucks to be you. If it makes you feel any better, I didn't really watch the previews because spoilers. It's not that big of a privilege. Yeah, why would there be a preview in the final episode? Oh, I guess that makes sense. At least you have your chance to talk after the episode. So that was the 13th and final episode of Abenobashi Mahou Shoutengai. And this episode, not completely sure how to feel about it. So, this episode, you had started off with Arumi and Satoshi just kind of, watching some video footage of some of their past adventures and stuff like that, and just talking about things, where they are now, really. And then you had like the guy who I guess is Satoshi's dad. I kind of forgot what he really looked like, but yeah, he kind of talked to Satoshi alone after he brought up, the whole Mazda death thing. And he was talking to him about onmyojis and stuff like that. About how apparently, I think he said Yutas was like his grandfather, so that's interesting, and that certainly makes sense with Muna being his grandmother. But anyway, yeah, he was pretty much really harsh with the whole onmyoji thing, calling it just tricks, how it can't really do anything of value. Things like that. And just the episode, as well as the anime, a nice chunk of the anime in general, really was kind of talking about this theme of Satoshi running away from reality. Like, he literally did that this episode. It was like, damn reality, and ran away from it. So, I thought it was a little bit weird, that ending, because in the end, he pretty much, like, the anime was kind of seemed like it was pushing the idea of accepting reality, that you can't just run away from it all the time. Eventually, you have to wake up and deal with it and stop being a kid. And yet, the ending of this anime was him throwing a temper tantrum until Yutas decided to help him out and let him change reality to benefit him and not have to accept any of those harsh realities. So I don't know, it feels like weirdly contradictory there. So I don't know. I mean, I like happy endings, so I'm not really going to complain about that or too much or anything, but it just seems a little bit weird to me, to say the least. Not to mention that the ending was a little bit confusing anyway, because I'm not sure exactly what happened there. One thing that I liked that was quite funny was when he was talking with Muna in that apartment complex, and he asked her the question, what are you going to do when you meet him or whatever. I very much liked her reaction to that, as well as Arumi's reaction, just blushing and looking away. That was really funny. Just, I don't know, I really enjoyed that scene. That might have been my favorite little scene of the episode. And that scene where Yutas does, like, bring out the adult form thing from Satoshi, I really did like just all the animation in that part. That was really cool to watch. I did quite like that. In any case, my thoughts on the anime as a whole. This has been a very, very interesting anime, quite an eventful ride. Because one thing I liked about it is the fact that a lot of episodes were very different from each other because they had very unique settings. Because it was just going to the areas that Satoshi wanted to go to. You wanted to hang out with some dinosaurs. You wanted to go into outer space and pilot some giant robots. You wanted to live out a fantasy RPG video game scenario. Like, all these little things he wanted to do, he got to do them here. So that led to a lot of episodes feeling very unique and interesting, and gave you kind of a sense of, hey, I wonder what fun adventure we're going on next time. I did quite enjoy that. Quite enjoyed Muna as a character. I didn't think she would be such a recurring character when we first saw her in the fantasy video game world. So I am glad she kept showing up here and there, usually, especially with Sayaka, the sister character. They always had fun jobs in like every single world. I was always looking forward to what they would do. Would they be helping them out? Would they be the enemy? It was always fun to just kind of wonder. And Yutas was always there. We were at the audience just kind of wondering what his role in all this was. And we eventually did learn just how important he was, how important of an onmyoji he was, and all that. And I definitely did not expect Satoshi to become an onmyoji himself at some point, but of course that makes a lot more sense when you realize that Yutas was his grandfather. So I did like how a lot of things did come together and make more sense. And it was obviously a pretty funny reveal that Muna was Satoshi's grandmother because of all the, lewd thoughts I'm sure he's had about her through the course of the series. But of course, I'm sure that didn't stop him from continuing to have them, just, probably just keeping them a little bit to himself more. And the reveal that the reason why they were failing to go home was the fact that Satoshi didn't want to go home. You had Arumi who did want to go home and Satoshi who didn't, who wanted to go on fun adventures. And it seemed like they kind of combined those two things in order to go to locations that looked a lot like home, but were very different to the point where Satoshi could have his fun fantasy adventures. So, yeah, I like how it progressively made it more and more obvious that they were going to places that Satoshi wanted to go to the point where I should have figured it out before it was like thrown in my face and made obvious, but I didn't. I'm sure people who are smarter than me figured that out much more quickly than I did. But I'm glad that they gave you a chance to figure that out on your own. I'm sure there was plenty of people that did figure that out before that was actually told to them. I'm just, not one of those people. Most of the worlds that Satoshi ended up going to are worlds that I would definitely like to go to as well. Like, the visual novel Galaga type world that he went to, where, he always there was tons of cute girls everywhere that all wanted to date him, and he just kind of chose which route he wanted to go down. That was a fun world. I wouldn't mind going there. That was pretty cool. Of course, the dinosaur world is fun as well, but, you know, dangerous, so I have mixed feelings about wanting to go there. The sci-fi world was also cool, but again, fairly dangerous, so it kind of on the fence of whether or not I would want to go there. But yeah, the point is, yeah, he had a great time. And we did eventually learn that part of the reason why he didn't want to go home was because of the death of the old man, which he didn't want to accept, and he did run away from that a lot. Of course, he kind of forgot. It seemed like he forgot that, at least, like, on the surface of his mind, forgot that, of course, it was always in the back of his mind, similar to what it was for Arumi, who also eventually figured it out. But yeah, Arumi has always been better about accepting reality than Satoshi, who, since the beginning of the series, he didn't want Arumi to move away, which is why he bounced from place to place. And the whole Masa death kind of just added on to that, but eventually things worked out and they did manage to go home. Just an alternate version of home that Satoshi was able to fix to be better. And that's kind of how the series ended off, and I am just glad that the series had a real ending and it wasn't just, and the adventure continues, will they one day go home? Who knows? Like, I'm glad we actually had a concrete ending. So yeah, overall I'd say my feelings on this anime were positive, and I enjoyed my time with it. Thank you for watching, and thank you Cnouki, the Dragon of Oshu, as well as everyone else, for doing what you can to support the channel. It means a lot to me, and I hope we can continue to grow the channel together. If you want to do more to support the channel, then you can become a patron on my Patreon and get cool rewards like early access to certain videos. Have a good one.